Well, good afternoon. Well, afternoon. That just shows you how this day is going. But yeah, good evening, everyone. We are, uh, uh, we'll have to check to see if we are actually live on Facebook.
I don't know. We're live somewhere.
So, yep. No, we're definitely good. So, anyways, yep. Welcome to the race briefing for Eastern States coming up. It is just yeah. I mean, we're down into the I don't know, the double digits in the number of hours that we light this candle and start this thing. So I'm joined today by some of the trail team, not all of them, but a few of them. We have Cassie, who is coordinator for the start and finish line. Steve Pagano, he is one of two medical coordinators that we have on staff. And there is Blake, who does logistics. Logistics are the people that move all the equipment, the supplies, the food, everything between aid stations and transport runners from here to there. So, he is a vital part of the Eastern States team. And then below me, I don't know if it's everyone can
Yeah.
see it below me. It
Eastern
is
States.
our president and of the Eastern States Trail Endurance Alliance and the assistant director. So, hello, Jade.
Hello, Ben.
So, I guess let's just start so we don't keep people here all night. So, Jade, talk a little bit about Eastern States Trail Endurance Alliance.
So I'm sure as most of you know, and I'll keep this really brief because we'll get to what you actually care about. But Eastern State Trail Endurance Alliance was an organization that we formed, 5 years ago now, ish, somewhere around there. But we are the parent organization of Eastern States 100, of course, Ironstone 100K, and just this past year we picked up Eagleton and Blake. So we love all of our races and we love all of our people, and we're so excited that you are allowing us the opportunity to help showcase our wonderful trails in Central Pennsylvania. So I just want to thank you on behalf of the Eastern States Trail Endurance Alliance. And now I will go back to being strictly Ben's assistant.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah, I do have a lot of things for you to do, so let me just try. No, we'll get to that later. So, all right, let's go through the timeline of events. So, you are traveling from wherever you're traveling from to the nice little state park in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania called Little Pine. And we are in the Pavilion 2, which is just above the lake at Little Pine and below the large parking lot there in the park. Um, what we are doing is we are having the bib pickup and confirmation at beginning at 5 o'clock, and it'll run all the way until 8 p.m. That is where you'll pick up your bib, your swag. You will also get bibs for your pacers if you pre-registered. I'll talk more about pacers a little bit later. But this is pretty much mandatory for all runners. So if you can't make it, please let myself or Jade or somebody on staff know if something happens and you are delayed in your arrival. We can make arrangements for you. All of you need to have your ID with you whenever you check in to receive your bids. The reason why is, we have had people in the past run under other people's names. We've had counterfeit registrations that have come through through our emails. So, we want to make sure that, if you are indeed running, that you are indeed running, and you're not, trying to get past maybe qualifying for maybe a Western States or another race. So that is a way for us to make sure that you are there. Cassie, I know I said I wasn't going to put you on the spot, but I'm putting you on the spot. One of the things that we require from our participants is we really need to know where you're going to be that whole entire weekend. That's not a problem whenever you're on the course, but sometimes some things happen where you go through the finish line, the timer doesn't record your bib coming through, or you unfortunately, and I know this happens often, you just don't surrender your bib to an aid station captain if you drop out in the middle of the race. So Cassie, kind of tell people what will happen whenever you come in and check in.
So yeah, thanks, Ben. So obviously, when a lot of people signed up, a lot of folks didn't exactly know what their where they were staying, and so we're going to be looking for you to at least confirm. If you said Little Pine Campground, what's your site number? Especially any campgrounds, give us a site number so we don't have to shake down the whole campground. I don't think your neighbors would appreciate that. And then also, addresses for places you're staying. Again, this is, in case you could be having some medical emergency post race. Obviously, we do have the emergency contact you provided, but just in case there's any concerns, we are going to be asking for specific details. So a lot of people. There's a mark at our registration folks will know if we need to get more information from you. There'll be a separate sign-in form for kind of updating that information. And it will ask for just kind of the specifics if you could give that to us. And obviously we still have the free camping available. That is another sign-up sheet. Essentially you need to have a sign-up sheet there. And we will have tags for your tent. That's just going to be it'll be the same as your bib number. Again, just so we can locate you in case there's any reason that we need to find you after the race or after you've dropped from the race. So please help us out with that. And that's all. Thank you. Is there anything else, Ben? You're muted.
I know. I almost fell off the earth whenever I hit my laptop. Anyhow, yeah, Cassie was a little bit more polite. I'm going to be a little bit more direct. Yeah, please, if you leave the course for any reason, whether you decide like I can't go any further, I'm dropping out at an aid station, or whatever the circumstances, please let the aid station captain know and surrender your bib. That is probably the surest way that we know that you're not on the course. Because what will happen is if we get to a point where, we've been waiting for you to check in at an aid station or at the finish and your, bib number isn't coming up, well, first we're going to try to contact you. And then if we can't contact you, then we are going to start getting the search and rescue folks involved, DCNR Rangers, and a lot of people that are going to come out and be looking for you. And that reminds me that, let me show you this number. If you happen to be one of those people that, do not let us know that, you have, departed the course, or maybe innocently the timer doesn't get your bib number and we start trying to call you, if you see any of those two numbers on your caller ID, please answer them, because it is our communication staff trying to get a hold of you and making sure that, you are, safe wherever you are and not somewhere out on the course. So, make sure if you see any of those two numbers, please answer them. And I know Travis, our communications director, would thank you tremendously if you answered that. So, but yeah, thank you very much.
Cassie,
Um,
I ran out to grab these. I don't know if you mentioned these or not, but if you did, these are the examples of the little tags we will have for the folks who are camping. You can write on these with permanent marker. Just to help with the rain, I also recommend like a clear piece of like packing tape. But you'll be able to write your stuff on there and affix that to your tent. If we need to find you, we'll know how to track you down. So be safe out there. Thank you.
Okay. Jade, if you can go over real quick about overnight parking and also the free tent camping area.
You betcha. As Cassie already told you, you will need to, if you want to use the free tent area, you will need to register. There's no cost, it's free, but we just have to know that you're there. You can stay there starting Friday night. And right on through till Monday morning. So you come back after the race, you're exhausted, and sore. We don't want you to feel like you have to drive home. So if you have the possibility that you can stay, we recommend that. We'll be checking on you. We'll have our medical staff kind of, in and out, just making sure that everybody's good and okay. So where that will be is directly across from, the start finish area. There is a little area, and we'll have signs up, but there's an area that has a parking lot. There will be, are we putting porta potties there this year, Ben?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Yep. There'll be two.
You won't have to hobble over to the dam area. So that will be there. The one thing that I will stress is that is the only place that you may overnight camp and set up a tent. It seems like every year somebody wanders out of the flock and thinks that they're going to get a quieter place somewhere else. It is as serious as we can have our permits pulled for it. And nobody wants to be responsible for that. So please, please, please stay in the designated area, because otherwise Ben or I are going to come knocking on your tent at midnight when you're trying to get some much needed sleep and make you move it. Nobody wants that also. The other thing I will say.
Or we'll move your tent while you're not there.
Oh yeah, we've done that before too. Ben and I have so much fun actually doing that. So, but we would prefer not to. The other thing I will say is in that area, it is tents only. There are no RVs, no camper vans, nothing like that. Now, if you're in the parking lot of that area, that's fine. But please keep it to tents only. There is no alcohol allowed because it's a state park anyway. So just keep all of that in mind, and be respectful of it, because us having that tent area is such a privilege that they allow us to have it. That's not normal, and we really have to be respectful of it in order to keep it year after year. Tracy's a great partner for us, and she works a huge number of hours to make sure that everything goes well for us. So we owe that respect back to her. But that is it. Please no parking overnight in the main parking area, though.
So Jade, just to confirm, we had a couple questions in chat. So one runner asked if it is okay to sleep in their car in the parking lot Friday night. And then a second question was, can crews consolidate cars at the start finish? Or does the one car per runner also apply there?
Okay, back up. I can only take one question at a time. My brain is not working anymore at this point, Blake.
This is a test.
I know. I failed.
You take the first one. I'll take the second one.
Okay, what was the first one? I
don't
remember.
First question: can I sleep in my car in the parking lot Friday night?
You can sleep in your car in the parking lot of the tenting area. That's what I will say. But you cannot sleep in your car in the parking lot of the start finish line. It's legit right across the road. But no, you cannot, because we now do have rangers that are out checking. So there's, just park it over there.
All right, I'll pass this one
And
on to Ben about
yes. Well, yes. Crews, spectators, They're welcome to park at the start and finish. It is a huge parking lot, and especially at the finish, we actually want to see, anybody and everybody there, whether, you're just a local resident to, your family is coming in to watch you finish your cruise. If you DNF'd, we still want you to be, at that finish line and, celebrate the achievement that, the runners that have completed this circumnavigation. So, yeah.
And definitely please consolidate your cars to make it easier for the aid stations.
Yes, each crew will be issued one placard, so you can have one crew vehicle per runner. So yes, you will actually have to consolidate and not send everybody out in different vehicles.
Yeah, it's many of these aid stations have limited parking. There are a few like Barons that are on in the middle, literally in the middle of nowhere on these dirt roads, and there really is no parking. You have to park on the side of the road. So consolidating as much as you can whenever you go to the aid stations is really appreciative. One of the things that people don't know whenever you direct these races is we do have caps. We have 180 runners for the crew division, 120 for the solo. Whenever we go to the DCNR and the state park, we have to estimate, okay, all right, how many crews are going to be out there, how many vehicles, and from that estimate, that is what our permit says that we are allowed. There have been other races that where there's crews. I mean, there's runners that have 4 or 5 vehicles following them on the course, and it caused not only problems for the other runners, but it really does affect our permitting for those events. So keep that in mind. So whenever you get to the check-in Friday, you'll be receiving a participant guide. It'll be a glossy 40-page guide that is not only actually good for the participant, but there's a lot of good information for the crews and other people that are interested in the race. Included in them are driving directions between aid stations for your crew. There's maps, there's not pace charts, but timing charts for the individual aid stations, the race rules, and it is really packed with information. However, you can already take a look at this document. It is online at our website at easternstates100.com. Just look for the participant guide link. And there was also a link that was provided to you in your pre-race email that you should have received yesterday. So, yeah. Also, another thing that we will have at the start is we will be selling our Triple Crown purple lizard maps. And I have one right here.
Oh, you're bad.
Anyhow, yeah, I know. I could never be Vanna White, and I knew that. But anyhow,
No, you can't.
These we had a very, very reputable, famous cartography company called Purple Lizard create these waterproof maps of all 3 courses in the Triple Crown, for like Heiner, World's End, and Eastern States. And I would say if you have crew, these maps would be really, really helpful for your crew in trying to navigate through the PA wilds and getting to the right aid stations to support you during your journey. So, yeah. So, okay, let's forward after getting your beauty sleep during the night. It is 3:30 to 4:45. We have the race check-in. Even though you got your bib, the night before, you still need to check in with us. We need to know if for some reason or another you decided not to participate in the race, you changed your mind in the like 10 hours from the bid pickup, or something may have happened to you, because we do really need to know if you are out on the course or not once you start. There'll be a drop bag drop off.
Ben, I just want to clarify that no ID is needed on Saturday morning, though. Just come and we'll check you back off, so you don't have to worry about placing your ID. So ID Friday night, no ID Saturday morning. Thank you.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And you can get your bibs on Saturday morning as well. Yes,
if you have prior permission from either myself or Jade. So the drop bag pavilion is at pavilion number 1. There is a map in the participant guide. There's a map on the website. There's maps on our social media account of where pavilion 1 is. Please put your drop bags there Saturday morning. Like, I am co-director for another race, and we had people drop their bags Friday, and the raccoons had a pretty good feast on those drop bags. So that's why we want you to, drop them off Saturday morning, starting at 3:30. And Blake, you know all about drop bags. I mean, that's like your middle name.
I do, Blake Drop Bags Cohen. Drop bags are my jam. So this is an example of roughly the size box. I'll back up a little bit. That we are looking for your drop bags to fit in. Our dimensions are 20 by 20. I think this box is just a little shorter than that, but kind of rough idea. This is not Southwest Airlines. You do not get to check 2 bags for free. Please pack what you need, but please pack it well, and please pack your drop bags tightly. We have 5 aid stations that will support drop bags: aid station 3, 7, 10, 12, and 14. Please feel free to use any or all of those. But biggest thing is please pack your drop bags tightly, kind of keep this rough size in mind. Only because the fantastic logistics crew, we probably have 200 plus drop bags to move, and we want to make sure that we get them there on time, so that they're available to all the runners and everything gets there in one spot. We will have the drop bags available, again, at those aid stations before they open. We are not picking up any of the drop bags then until those aid stations close, and then eventually all of those drop bags will be available back in the same pavilion on Sunday to pick up. Is that right, Cassie, on the drop bag return location?
Blake, usually we'll set aside an area depending on how wet the area is. We usually set aside an area on the grassy hill towards the bathhouse to return drop bags. But there will be signs for people, and certainly anyone at the start finish can direct folks. But thank you.
Yeah, and weather is a great note. I don't know where everyone is Zooming or StreamYarding in from here, but here in Rocksylvania, it is wet. It's been raining for like 3 days, and it's going to keep raining. So definitely, please take care of your drop bags. Make sure it's something waterproof. But my team and I, we will do our best jobs to keep things dry. So there'll be a dry location for you to drop them off. race day morning, and then we'll have a dry spot for them available, at the aid stations, and a dry spot for y'all to pick them up when you're all soaking wet on Sunday.
And can I just say, please do not make a 5-gallon bucket a drop bag. That is not a drop bag. Nothing with roller wheels, nothing like these have to be compact. And don't make them, don't make us think that there's a body hidden in this bag. It can't be super heavy. We're asking a lot of people to carry this stuff around for you. So that's all.
And we have seen. I don't want to say we've seen it all because I'll probably be proven wrong. But yeah, we have seen a lot of things. So, but yeah, just keep them reasonable, and that will make our jobs a lot easier throughout the 2 days. Whenever you get there, there will be fresh coffee brewed from Basin Coffee out of Danville. They make some great beverages. So, if you need that little pick me up in the morning, it will be there. We will also have breakfast available that morning as well. So, if you want to have a pancake or maybe a little bit of bacon to get your morning going. That will be there as well. And then, we kind of all migrate over to the parking lot around 4th. There is a pre-race briefing, but we consider this is the real pre-race briefing. The only thing that we will talk about right before the race is if there's any changes to the course, if there's like if a storm comes through, and be aware of between aid station 3 and 4 there are blowdowns and stuff like that. It's just a way to keep you updated on the latest conditions of the course. And then at 5 o'clock we send you off. There's no pyrotechnics, but we wish you long. So yep, we say goodbye and good luck, and then hopefully you come back sometime after midnight on Sunday. And it's a 36-hour cutoff. We as race directors aren't here to give you any race strategy or ideas on how to complete this race. Hopefully you had the training up to this point that you feel that you're confident in making it through, and you're welcome to post anything on our Facebook group page about your feelings, thoughts, and anxieties and hopefulness and anything like that on social media. So we encourage that. But we kind of designed this course to be a challenge and a good showcase of not just the terrain and the scenery that we have here in the PA Wilds, but also what I like to call our Central Pennsylvania hospitality. I really truly believe that we have the staff and also the aid station volunteers that really make this event stand out from a lot of other events throughout the nation. So hopefully you are out there and really take everything in and enjoy yourself. But whenever you come back Sunday, I don't care if you DNF'd. I don't care if you somehow didn't show up and missed the start, or you want to bring your friends and family and your high school teacher that told you that you'd be nothing whenever you grow up. I don't care. It is going to be a party whenever we congregate again Sunday. Starting around 8 a.m. and really cheer on everyone that that comes through that finish line. So I really want everybody to be there and excited and just so supportive for everyone that finished that journey through the going around the Pine Creek Valley. So yeah.
Make sure you hug Ben too. He loves it.
No. Because how many times do we have to talk about this? I
just don't want anyone to forget
that's
it.
rule number 2. I'm not going to tell you what rule number 1 is, but rule number 2 is no hugging, no touching. So anyways, at the finish line, we will have like a special menu, special food for our volunteers and for our participants. If you are a crew or a spectator, we have a really awesome food truck. It's Real Taste 570. They do a great Mexican cuisine, tacos, nachos, burritos, stuff like that. They're really, really good. And we have this year Bald Birds Brewing out of Auburn, Pennsylvania, down near Philly, and also Jersey Shore, Pennsylvania, that will be providing the beer this year. So, yeah, whenever you get to the finish line, you'll have your choice of buckle. We've talked about that. And also the choice of jacket or a Ultra Spire vest. I don't know if do you have that handy?
Of course I do. It's my job.
Ta-da!
I was going to put it on, but I didn't want to look ridiculous.
No.
I'll look ridiculous.
True. Yeah.
I mean, it can't be worse than Ben doing karaoke, but
well, we won't talk about that, so I'm going to move on. Race rules. We did talk about a little bit about the race rules, but we spent a lot of time putting together a very informative website. There's the glossy participant guide. The participant guide is online. We, post the rules on social media. So there is no reason why that if you end up breaking a rule and saying, well, I didn't know, or, I didn't read the rules, that, there is an excuse that, you did not, know, or, decided not to, adhere to those rules. So, they're posted, review them, read them over. But most of them are common sense and, similar to many other rules for other ultras. So, nothing is really too wacky or anything, too different. But one thing that I will mention is a rule that I didn't put in, but it's the don't be a jerk rule. If we find out that, you are very, rude or unruly or just belligerent to one of the volunteers, a lot of these volunteers, they are there the entire weekend, providing support for you. Many of them have traveled hours. We have an aid station captain that's all the way from Arizona that is, providing, a great experience for you. So I don't want to hear anybody, being rude or anything belligerent to a volunteer. And also, to be fair, it's reciprocal. If there's a volunteer that's rude to you, then I want to know about it as well. So, yeah.
And those same rules apply to crews as well. And I just want to point that out. So it's not just participants that we are concerned about, but it's also crews. And there's rules for them as well. And as a participant, it is your job to know the rules that they have to go by and make sure that they abide by them. So not only kindness, because kindness counts, but also things like crewing in places that they shouldn't be, trying to crew at non-crewable aid stations. Those are things that will get you immediately disqualified without question. So it cannot be done. So all of these rules apply to your crews as well. There are reasons that we don't have every aid station is crewable. And that includes don't crew along the road at some random place either. So we do have people out watching. And when it is discovered, unfortunately, the next aid station that you get to, your bib will be pulled and you will be disqualified. It's that serious. Again, I'll go back to it could cost us our permits, and we're not willing to put our race on the line because somebody couldn't follow the rules. I'll stop being mean now. I'm sorry. That was harsh.
Oh no, I enjoy being harsh. I mean,
I'm not normally
you know,
that aggressive. I'm sorry.
no, we'll work on that. Yeah, let's take a little bit of a turn and talk about medical. And I have with us Steve Pagano, one of our medical coordinators. So yeah, hi
Hey,
Steve.
everybody. Hey, hi, guys. So a couple things I need to talk about concerning medical. We will have medical volunteers at every aid station, and they're there to ensure that you guys have the best chance to finish the race. And the medical professions represented will be podiatrists. We have some EMTs. We have some ER physicians and some other physicians with trauma experience. So I think we have all the bases covered. And most of us in the medical volunteer group will be wearing red T-shirts to specify that we are, in fact, medical crew, medical volunteers. And so you can come to us with any questions, any problems. We will be assessing. The general rule of thumb is we have eyes on everybody as they enter the aid station, and we're checking, looking for signs of hyperthermia if you're running too hot. We're looking for signs of hypothermia if it's cold out or if it's raining like last year. We're looking for signs of dehydration. Those are things that we need to take seriously. As you enter an aid station, our volunteers will be questioning anyone that looks a little shaky, or we should be asking everybody as they enter the aid station, do you have any problems, any hot spots, any concerns? And if your answer is no, we're going to let you blow right past us and do your thing. But if there isn't if you do have a question or a problem, then we're there to help you. We're not there to just automatically disqualify you. So there's no need to hide any aches or pains. We can get you assessed and get you patched up so you can finish this race. Like I always tell my patients in my office, small fires are a lot easier to put out than big fires. So if you have a small problem, let us tend to it. Don't wait until you can see your heel bone through a blister to get it patched up. Let us do our thing to help you guys finish. Let's see here. We have another item is there's many runners that are on prescription medications. Whether it's whatever your condition is, this race is possibly a 36-hour race for you. So bring your own medications with you. Keep them with you. Take them on schedule. Do not skip a dose just because you're racing. It's even more important to stay on schedule with prescription meds during a long event like this, because you're going to be burning the candle at both ends, and you're just going to need to stay consistent with those meds. Let's see here. Also, medical volunteers do not handle any prescription medications. If they're yours, you keep them, you tend to them. We do not hand out prescription medications or medications of any kind. Let's see here. A couple things about heat illness with relation to just during the daytime temperatures. It's going to be hot. It's probably going to be humid. So the higher the humidity, the lower the temperature can be to where you suffer the effects of hyperthermia. The highest risk occurs with humidity, of course, but in high temperatures. And heat illness, the number one factor that should be tended to and can be still tended to at this time before the race is hydration status. you have to think about hydration as a active prevention strategy to protect you from dehydration on the race. So the best rule of thumb is if your urine is clear, you're fully hydrated. If it's dark yellow, you got some work to do with hydration before the race starts. Don't wait till you get halfway through the race to think about, oh, I should be hydrating more. Get it done now and early and often during the race. And then some key things that the medical volunteers will be looking for as runners enter, because these are all symptoms, early signs of dehydration, heat illness, as dizziness, fainting, nausea and vomiting, which we see a lot of. I've seen a lot of this at the middle aid stations and earlier. Dizziness, fainting, nausea, vomiting, low levels of coordination. So if you're stumbling around, all the medical volunteers are trained in this. They should recognize that as early signs of dehydration and sit you down and start helping you force some fluids, get some salty snacks into you. We'll do our best to get you recovered so that you can continue the race. I think those are the main points. Just want to stress that we're here to help you guys finish this race, and we will in no way stand and block your progress if you are deemed able to continue. We'll let you go. But if we make a decision that your condition is such that it's going to prevent you from getting to the next aid station, or that you are endangering your health by continuing, we will do our best to give you as much information as we can so that you can make an informed decision about whether or not you should continue or drop. And if we feel it's necessary to drop and you don't necessarily think, we still reserve the right to make that decision for you if you are not coherent enough to make that decision, especially. But we'll do our best to talk with you, give you as much information as we can to help you make the right decision for you. There's nobody here in this group or on the course wants to pull you for a hangnail. If there's a serious condition, you're going to be pulled aside, and we're going to discuss what's going on. And you, the runner, and us, the medical volunteers, will make that decision together. And with that, I think I'm finished. We can turn it back over.
Yeah, thank you, Steve.
Sure.
I just wanted to reiterate that, yeah, the medical professionals that are there, they are there to get you to the finish. They're not there just to, pull you for, for anything or, whatever. Their objective is, to do whatever they can to help you make it to that finish line. But there are sometimes situations that, they need to intervene, but, don't look at them as, not the enemy, but, just look at them as, an advisor to help you, make the right calls and get you to that end point at Little Pine. So thank you, Steve.
Sure.
And just a quick plug, just to let runners know as well, for all of the overnight aid stations beginning at aid station 8, we'll have separate medical tents. So, you'll have a private area to consult with, Steve and his team. So just know that, we're doing everything we can, to take care of y'all, keep you on course, race ready, and see you back across that finish line on Sunday.
Yep, and we also today we actually ordered more porta johns throughout the course, so that need is taken care of. Anyhow, Jade, you've been doing all the trail coordinating, and
I know, I'm exhausted.
boy, I don't know if anyone knows this, but it's 103 miles of trail.
It is 103. It's not 100. It's 103, because at 100 you'd be at a really weird spot, close to the rattlesnake thing.
Still, and also, I mean, there are a lot of ultras that are looped courses or back, to and fro. But yeah, this is a one loop, 103-mile course that you won't repeat, any major part of the course. So,
Well, we
yeah.
have some people repeating the whole course, which is super cool. But I'll talk about trails now. So we have had our team of trail volunteers, a couple different things, doing trail work out there for weeks, months. Some people do it all year round. Now, the trails are in really good shape. Are the trails perfect? Absolutely not. We don't want them to be perfect. I mean, if we had perfectly groomed trails, I mean, what would the fun be in that? Just today, we had somebody that was out flagging and reported back that in the Heiner area, they found there was 4 blowdowns on sections that had already been cleared. So those things are going to happen. We will do our best to get to every one of them. That doesn't mean that we will. There will be trees across trails in places. As long as they're not major tree tops that you have to climb through, we feel like you can climb over. It's fine. You'll be all right. In addition, we've done a lot of weed whacking and mowing along the way. But again, you are going to come into areas that there is still some nettle. So it is what it is. We've done our best, but it's been a tropical rainforest up here this summer. And a lot of that stuff grows pretty fast. So we will have the trails in the best shape possible when you go out there, but it is 103 miles. So keep that in mind. As we are flagging, so we're doing one different thing this year, but I will tell you, anybody that's been with us before knows that we use this pink flagging for the most part. That you'll see that on all of our daytime areas. So we use pink because we learned a few years ago that orange is really hard for our friends who have color blindness issues to see. So this is what works really well. And then in the past, and some this year, we have always used these reflectors for our nighttime sections. We are still using some of those, but we are trying out something new this year as well. And this is orange, but it's meant for your nighttime reflector. If you can see this. Oh, it does reflect a little bit. Is it reflecting? To me, it is. So I tried this out in my basement and it worked. So I'm hoping that my basement translates really well to Sproul State Forest at midnight. I don't know. But we did intermix this with some of these just to be sure. The trail markings you will find them about every 100 steps or 50 paces, depending on who you ask. We did not overflag. We tried not to overflag, but we also did not underflag. Key intersections and key areas will have extra flagging. You may also see some of these up in places to tell you that this is a major turn. So we'll have a lot of signage up in places that we think that you can go wrong. There's some areas that you just can't go wrong. It's straight, but so yeah, we've been out doing that. Our flagging is just about completed. So if you have crew or anybody that wants to go for a run the day before because you're on taper crazies and driving them nuts, the course is flagged. They can pick out some nice areas and go for a run. I think that about covers it. We will have, Waterville Fire Company is going to do a couple of road crossings for us early in the race. So when you first come down to Ramsey to aid station 2, you drop down off the hill and pretty directly run straight into Route 44, which can be busy. So we have Waterville Fire Company that will be there directing you and slowing traffic and stopping traffic. So please make sure that you thank them when you go by, because they are, like we are, a volunteer organization, and they're out there just out of the goodness of their hearts and the fact that they love seeing us do this every year. So, all right. I think that covers it on trails. Did I miss anything?
No, I think that was it. I can't think of anything else. But we do want to thank all the trail volunteers that have been worked really, really hard, and we also do have a crew that is working a party up until the race day clearing some stuff out, and we do have kind of like, I don't know, we need to call them a name, like the race day trail people. Like,
I thought they
I
were
don't know.
Task Force Z because it was founded by the Zimmermans.
Yes,
I thought
Task
that's what
Force
we were
Z.
calling them.
Yeah, that has
Like
a ring
April
to it.
Zimmerman, I mean, John Schaefer. I can't even name everybody that has been so, Sam Geary. Listen, our trail team is amazing, and it is a largely thankless job because they aren't the ones that you come face to face with during the race weekend. So they're amazing. Craig Fleming, who the race director of Heiner and several other races you all know and love, he gets his team to clear a lot of our stuff and around Sproul too. So there's just so many people that we should thank on the trail team that I should have written a list down to thank them all. But yeah, they're great. We love them.
Cool. So going forward, Pacers. I probably received more emails about Pacers in the last 12 hours than anything. So yes, Pacers, the registration for the pre-registration or registration, online registration, has closed yesterday. However, Pacers can still register Friday evening at Little Pine at the start and finish in the pavilion. There will also be Pacer bibs and the paperwork at the aid stations that are accepting Pacers, and those are the same aid stations that are crew accessible. So you're talking about Heiner, aid station 7, then Tome Flats, aid station 10, Blackwell, aid station 12, and then aid station 14 at Barron's. So those are the stations that you can join your water, join your runner during the race.
Or join your water. I
saw something. I saw something that caught my eye. I just said water.
Stop distracting yourself. Hey, can I say one thing about the Pacers? We have a record number. So I asked Ben early on, how many Pacer bibs should I order? Because y'all get specific Pacer bibs. So he's like 300. I pulled the Pacer list today that closed. So this isn't even without people at aid stations. I had 461 Pacers. So yeah, there's a lot of you signed up as Pacers, and that's awesome. I think that's great. So again, that just shows we really have to control the traffic, because 461 Pacers is a whole lot more than we have participants. So, which is cool. It's just, and I have a solution for the bib problem. Don't worry. But yeah, 300 was not the magic number.
Yeah, we already talked about that.
I had a little panic attack. It's fine. It's all good.
It'll be an interesting solution. So we'll get to some of the questions online soon, but one of the big things that I'd like to talk about is a possible course change. If you've been looking at the weather, there is a tropical depression toward our south, over in the Carolinas and down in Georgia. The remnants of tropical storm Debbie. Right now, the weather forecast, the computer models are split 50-50. I mean, down the line, where either we'll get no rain or we'll get 1 to 2 inches. So as soon as we receive a little bit more consensus on those models, what we are going to do is we will reroute the water crossing at Tome Flats. What will that mean for the runner? For the runner, it means instead of crossing at Pine Creek at Tome Flats, you will be running down the road that goes toward the village of Slate Run, cross the bridge at the Village of Slate Run, and then go up the trail back to Tome Flats, get your crew there, get whatever your pacers or whatnot, and then run back down the rail trail to Slate Run. It is about eighth of a mile down the trail. Maybe not even that. Maybe more of a half a mile. But yeah, okay, it's gonna suck, but it is what it is. It's if there is, there's a certain depth that we have coordinated with DCNR that if it goes above a certain height, that we do not do the river crossing, and that is for your safety. We have actually some good forecasting materials and personnel that are really good at river forecasting. So as soon as we make that get a little bit more clear picture of what's going to happen Friday, because the way the things are, it's the precipitation that falls on Friday that affects the river on Saturday. So once we get an idea of how much participation is actually going to drop, fall from the sky, we will be making that call. It could be as soon as tomorrow, but it'll be no later than Thursday. So, yeah, that is it. But if you're a crew, it means you are going to do the same thing that you did before. You will drive to Tome Flats, pick up your runner, and if you're dropping off a pacer, that's where they're going to, join your runners. So if you're a crew, nothing has changed. So, yeah.
And if you're
everyone's now mad at this person named Debbie.
And Ben. It's Ben's fault.
Well, yeah, it's always
Ben's fault. The other thing to keep in mind too is if we do get the amount of rain that we're supposed to, please be careful where your crews are parking. We don't want to tear up the DCNR property. So, for instance, at Tome Flats, we have always had this overflow as of last year, had this overflow parking area. If we get buckets of rain, we may not be able to use that area. So just, again, be courteous of everybody and, again, of the state park property. We can't control the weather. We can just work around it. So we're going to do the best we can, and we're still going to have a great time. And you may very well get to run the longest Eastern States 100 ever run. So you get that designation.
There's a quick question in the chat that if we do alter the course and we're adding that, slightly additional mileage, will there be any changes to cutoffs?
At that point in the race and the distance that needs to be covered, and also the fact that it's like flat rail trail, no. I'll think about it, but right now I'm gonna lean that it's pretty much inconsequential, and we've never had the amount of time that someone needed to get down. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna, like in the wash, it's gonna be that much of a a difference. So
really haven't changed cutoffs, and that used to be essentially the old route before we put in the river crossing.
Yeah, and also, I mean, I mean, this is just my opinion. Our cutoffs, I believe, are very, very generous. I mean, we have made this race. I mean, yeah, it is a challenge. It's 100 miles through the Pennsylvania wilds, but we believe that with the way that the cutoffs are, it is very achievable. In fact, if you're doing like maybe the Triple Crown and have been to some of the other races like World's End, the races, it's a battle against the cutoffs. While this race, it's more a battle against just being out there for that amount of distance, and also some of the terrain, especially like I would think in the first 50K, where it's you have to go up and down I always say with this course there are no mountains, it's just steep gorges, just again and again. So it is not a mountainous terrain, it is a gorgeous terrain. See what you did there?
See what you did there. Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, all right. Does anyone else here have on my team have any other comments?
I was waiting for you to notice. Look what came.
It looks like a cylinder.
It is. It's a cylinder full of beer with a.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, it's not full anymore. It was when I started.
Is there a clear one that we can see that sweet new design?
Well, you can't really. Here, hold on.
Chug it, chug.
Well, it's really hard because when it's clear, you really can't see it. And I have weird lighting in here, so you can't see it. But you'll have to trust me that it's super cool. And this is our new Solo Division finisher pint glass. It's really hard to see, but just know they came, they showed up. I'm having the first beer out of one.
Let's see. Here's an important question. If someone has updated medical information that the medical team should know about, who should they message? Where's email?
What they should do, considering that I believe most of the medical reports have already been forwarded to the medical personnel, forward that to myself, and I will send that along to the medical team, and they can update it on their spreadsheets and Excel and all that other Microsoft stuff. So
we had someone else kind of toss their answer in, but I'll open the question for the group. Are there many other smaller creek crossings on the course requiring wet feet and possibly change of shoes? And are any of them near which aid stations?
All of them?
yes. I say yes.
Yes.
Sorry.
How many pairs of shoes do you have?
Or just
Um,
because it's not going to matter. But
I mean, it will be raining, so a creek crossing, other than like staying upright and safe and stable, dry shoes is probably the best possible outcome, but not very likely looking at the weather forecast.
No, so you're going to come across. I'll give you an example. So even if you don't cross Tone Flats, but if you do, whatever, you're going to change shoes there, right? Because everybody changes shoes at Tone Flats. Then you're going to go and you're going to get on the Black Forest Trail, and you're going to climb out of Slate Run, which is great and fine and good. And you're going to cross the top of Algerines. And then eventually you're going to start coming back down a creek bed, which I had the pleasure of flagging on Saturday in a torrential rainstorm. And it was roaring. And talking creek crossings with, it's usually a trickly little stream. But with the amount of rain that we've had lately, it was calf deep. So now I was lucky in that I was done flagging at the bottom of that creek bed. But in your case, you will come to the Cedar Run aid station at the bottom of that creek bed and go from there toward Blackwell. So yes, I would say any chance that you can, extra shoes or extra socks, take care of your feet for sure. And we will have specific physicians out there that specialize in feet, which is a weird specialty, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of feet.
I'm not.
Anyhow. So, I mean, another way to look at it is okay, there is the gorge, which is Pine Creek, and also the over in Heiner, the Susquehanna River. And other than that, um, to get to like the top of the plateau, you have to go up either a hollow or a creek bed or something like that. And the same thing goes on the downside. The trails themselves, they pretty much dry out, not dry out, but the drainage on them are pretty good. But you know, there are times where you know the trail does have to cross that hollow and that stream, and you know, and that's the the only way for that from getting up to the top of the plateau down to where the river is. And most of the aid stations are in a hollow or low spot.
And I'm going to roll into just addressing kind of a question from the comments. There's probably going to be many stream crossings that if you need extra water and you've got a Ketadine B-Free or similar hollow fiber filter, I've definitely been out on the course and used that. Obviously, there's always a chance of something else being out there. But if you've got a B-Free filter and you drink a lot of water and you just want the security and peace of mind, there should be plenty of opportunity to filter water if you'd like to do that.
Is it muddy as World's End? No. I don't know anything that could be as muddy as that, but that's because you're like with that plateau, all the water just kind of settles at the top. Here, at least the water does drain down into the streams, so I wouldn't suspect there to be a lot of mud, but yeah, you will get your shoes wet from crossing multiple streams throughout the day and night. See, I don't see anything else in the chat.
Real quick, Ben, I do just want to address something I tried to answer. Basically, a runner asked, if they only have, one crew person that doubles as their pacer, options for coordinating kind of, that car without dropping in an aid station. I basically said, hopefully if you've got a Facebook login, we do go on the Facebook page, post to see if you can hook up with other runners and their crew. Beyond that, try to coordinate with folks maybe Friday night. There's certainly going to be a lot of folks checking in, and if folks can help out, I'm sure there'll be someone to help out there. So if anybody else had anything to add to that.
No, I think just that Friday night, if you haven't reached out to people, Friday night's a great time to, meet some people and kind of arrange that if you don't do it ahead of time. Unfortunately, our people moving missions have to be specifically saved for our volunteers and our dropped runners. So we cannot be shuttling pacers. But there's lots of people jump in with somebody going out of the parking lot and going to the same aid station you are.
A person in the chat said about runner tracking. Right now, no, but there may be a possibility. It's one of those things there. Like we try to implement the same tracking at another race at World's End, and there was some issues that occurred that we're not really sure that we've addressed. So just expect that there will be no runner tracking. And whenever we talk about runner tracking, it's everyone has like a little bit of different definition. The runner tracking that we used like last year recorded your in and out times at the different aid stations. This is from the ham radio and the recorders that are at the individual aid stations. Because of the remoteness of the terrain, there's very little cellular service, especially when you get north of the course beyond like Aid Station 5. So, using, cellular tracking doesn't work. We could go with satellite tracking, but I don't know if anyone wanted to have their registrations increased by $80 per person to have some of the Garmin satellite tracking tools that are available. So don't anticipate it, but we're like, we do have a team that's trying to work on it. So we may surprise you at the start, saying, "Hey, guess what? You can be your friends and family from far reaches can at least know you made it to a particular aid station or whatnot." So yeah, that's about as clear as I can explain it.
To answer, there's a question out there right now about having shoes with the rock plate. There's no difference. The whole course is rocky. That rock plate is probably not gonna, your feet are gonna hurt. Yeah. We can't give you any good advice there because it's all rocky. We don't call it Rock Slovenia for nothing.
All right. Well, I am going to just give it a couple more minutes, but if you have questions, make sure you actually tell us now, because starting tomorrow, many of us will be at Waterville. And remember, whenever I said about lack of cellular service, well, we won't be able to answer emails as quite as frequent and as prompt as we have been. So and also, we got a race to put together, so we're pretty busy. So I'm going to give it a little bit more time.
Yeah, and do tell your crew, weather dependent, fingers crossed, Saturday night into Sunday morning, we'll be having s'mores at the start finish with a fire, keep everybody warm, and have a little party going. So any crew or pacers or anybody who's done with their duties, come on and check it out, and we can have some fun at start finish too. So
So, okay. All right. Well, I think I'm going to wrap it up. So, Cassie, Blake, Jay, thank you. And also thank you to Steve. He had a bolt for an appointment, but so we will see all of you Friday. Safe travels. Take care of yourself between then and now, and know that you're appreciated. So, all right, I guess we're gonna call it a day. So, thank you, everyone,
Friday.
and
See you,
see you
later.
later.
Be well.
Bye.